You know, you've heard about like the big harmoniums, they call them in England, right? It's like a pump organ. And what happened is, when the missionaries went to India, they had them on their big legs, but all the Indian people were sitting on the ground, so they cut the legs off and put the pump back here. And they would sing love songs to God, you know. And but the funny thing in India is you say like, they would say, Jesus is the Lord, and they'd say, yes. Yay, Jesus is the Lord. Om Namah Shivaya, Jesus is the Lord. Om Namah Shivaya. And they would mix it all up. So, because they say, whatever name you call it, it's the same thing. So the Indians really took to this for singing songs of praise and love. And truly, it's one of the simplest instruments to play. Because this hand is just pumping. And this hand, you don't want to do too much complex, because the drone, it kind of makes, it's like a dance floor for the voice, isn't it? And it's got these stops. You know how you say that saying, let's pull out all the stops. This is if I only pull out one stop.
There's little buttons on the inside that you pull.
But if I pull out a second stop,
it's called a stop.
It's a little fuller. So I just pulled out all the stops. Nice singing with you. And
isn't she great? I can't keep my eyes off her when she sings. It's so wonderful to hear. It's so great.
This is after like countless days on the road together. That's pretty great.
So these drums are called tabla. Can you say that? Tabla. And the treble, the smaller drum, is wood, and the bass drum, the bigger drum, is nickel-plated brass or copper. And the skin, the straps, and the top is made of goat skin. And the black dots are highly secret ingredients, which I've been empowered to tell you.
It almost happened this morning.
Have you ever boiled rice and forgot about it and got back to the stove and it turned into a glue in the bottom of the pan? Yeah. So that's what they do. They took that glue and they mixed iron dust from an iron factory, really fine black dust. And they mix that up with the rice paste and they put it on wet and they put it in the sun to dry. And then they take a shiny obsidian stone like this for a half hour and they polish it. It's pushing it and loading it deep down and it cracks. Tiny lots of little cracks, hundreds of cracks. And they do that same process about 7 or 8 times. And so on top of each other you got all these cracks, and that's what makes it sound like a metallic bell. It's all those cracks vibrating against each other. Pretty cool. And it gives the bass drum more resonance too. And then when I learn the drums, every stroke that I learn, as I'm learning to play them from my teacher, I'm also learning to say them. So I'm going to teach you a few. This is called ta.
Ta.
This is tin.
Tin.
Tune.
Tune.
Tet.
Tet.
Te.
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 Re.
Te.
Cut.
Cut.
Good. But then I can go good.
Good.
So I'm pushing my palm across that black patch, and it's making that. And then I can go. G.
It's kind of fun.
Now when you take each stroke, when you take a bass open sound and put it with the treble sound at the same time, you put a D in front of all those names. So ta becomes da, tin becomes din, tune becomes dun, tet becomes det, and ter becomes I dare, dare, dare. And furthermore, when the language keeps morphing depending on how fast you're going. So if you play tet, te, and cut together, and if you play it twice, tet, te, cut, becomes teraki,
Teraki.
tataka.
Tataka.
With me, here we go.
Teraki. Ta.
Again.
Teraki. Ta.
simple. Some of them they might have made up right there on the spot. Takadi kita taka taka tere kita taka taka tere kita din da da tere kita taka ta tere kita gadigena da ta gadigena da. Taki kita ta kita ta gadigena da tere kita ta gadigena da ta gadigena da tere kita ta gadigena da ka gadigena da. Simple short composition. I think you know this. Ti gadigena.
One note. Tyann can do it better than me, like one note. And to sing and play tabla is almost unheard of. So Daniel has shared the stage with like the greats in classical and in non-classical music, including Bob Dylan and various hundreds.
So this one is really special because you don't usually sing these tabla songs, right? But this one goes like this. It goes. You want to try it? Anyway, never mind. So about a year ago, I met Gina and found out she could actually sing this stuff. And so I went over to her house to record her. Like I was thinking, 2 songs out of my next CD, okay, but just 2 would be enough, right? And by the end, she sings on like every song. It's over there. It's called Tabla Mantra, and it mixes these Indian devotional songs with the drum singing that she's helping me do so wonderfully.
Well, he actually told me how to do that.
Yeah, but nobody else could do it. I even tried to teach some other drummers to do it, and they couldn't.
It's from all those years of talking a lot. Thank you.
Very good.
Actually, one of our friends, he's a great flute player, masterful, and he had a stroke and his mouth was getting all mush mouth, like difficult to speak. So he's been practicing using tabla bowls. And it's helping him get his festivity back in his mouth.
It's helped too. So the reason I have different drums is because I have to change, they're so finely tuned that I have to play the drum that's in the key that she's singing in. That's why I have all these extras, just in case you were wondering.
We sang to the Ma, now it's time to sing to the masculine, Shiva.